And welcome to the latest episode of From the Rubble, which is my Let's Build series set in a heavily modded post-apocalyptic Minecraft world. And what I'm looking at here is an alternator. This alternator comes to us from the Create Crafts and Additions mod, and it allows me to essentially create an alternator which will translate the rotational power from the Create mod into RF energy, which is used by like almost every other technology mod out there. And in my case, it's the thermal series, right? So that's the ultimate goal. That's what I need to do. Now that being said, to create this thing in the first place, it's going to require some iron, and it doesn't require a ridiculous amount of iron, but I have pretty much no iron, so even a little bit is a tall order. And the challenge to that is that as you've seen if you've seen previous episodes, you know that it's a broken and harsh landscape. I got 2 iron dust, so that is it. It's a broken and harsh landscape, and the much of it is taken up by buildings. Now those buildings, I don't have any potatoes and nothing to fuel them, but so what I'm doing now is I'm trying to gather fuel, biofuel, to use my puddle jumper so that I can go in search of iron. And the challenge here is that this broken landscape is about 50% urban and 50% natural. And in the urban areas, they're big buildings. And while those are very good sources for things like deep slate and quartz, even diorite, andesite, blah blah blah, it precludes the ability to find iron unless you go digging for it. And iron is best found at higher altitudes, so you need to go up. And since there's fewer places for the natural biomes to shine through, there's even fewer places to find elevated natural areas where iron's going to be more plentiful. Now we've done it in the past, but and we've collected quite a bit of iron, but we're kind of tapping out some of those areas, so we may have to explore new parts of the map. And what I do, and the reason I'm stocking up on potatoes, is that it will require the use of the puddle jumper, right? The puddle jumper uses biopower, basically like an episode of Gilligan's Island. I'm sitting there pedaling my heart out to keep myself up in the air, but then I go through food like nobody's business. And that's what we'll be doing today. Now, once I get the metal, it turns out that the alternator is not as hard to build as I originally thought. I thought I was going to have to make precision mechanisms from the Create mod, which, I mean, they're not difficult. It's just it requires a bit of infrastructure to make them, and they're kind of a pain in the butt. But turns out that I don't need precision mechanisms. Now I do need some weird stuff, and we're working on that weird stuff right now. So I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to finish the alternator by the end of the episode. I just need to get that iron, and the potential spanner in the works, or monkey wrench in the works, will be getting the iron, right? If I have a hard time finding the iron, that's where most of the time's going to go, or all the time's going to go. Now, another thing is, a few episodes ago we came to the conclusion that the enchantments on our gear suck, with a capital S. And I'm limited in my ability to re-enchant stuff. So what I'm going to do here is I cleared the enchantments for my sword, and I'm going to basically load it up like I would if I was, you know, had all the experience levels in the world, and that's going to give me a cost. Well, looking where it's 40 now, and if we add leech to it, so 44 levels is what I need to max out my sword. I'm at 26 now. I don't think I can get 44 just by farming what I have now, but I'm waiting for my potatoes to cook, so might as well see how close I can get, and then maybe worst case scenario, we will enchant it better than it was. How about that, right? It might, oops, it might not be totally uber, but it's a whole lot more uber than it was before. And let's go ahead and plant this cabbage. You know, I got some other mature ones, so let's just grab those, replant the seeds, and let's see. Oh, so I think the time is about right too to go into sandwich mode. I don't know if I'm going to do that right away, but it's certainly time, I think. It looks like the peanuts are not completely ready. It looks like all the rice except one is ready. I know the wheat and the flax, both types of flax, are done. And so I know that is probably a zombie. It could be any monster. Probably a zombie. And you know, we've talked about the mob mods in this one, and the creatures can hear you. And if they're aware of you, they start making this god-awful racket. And if you're doing things like walking, mining, planting, pretty much anything in the game except just standing there, they can hear you and they start to get agitated and they start making all this noise. Which then in turn lets me know that they're out there. But then, you know, you're trying to play the game while you're listening to somebody clear their throat for 20 minutes. Not exactly the most appetizing thing in the world, but it is what it is. Oh, you know, growing up, well, you know, I'm a child. I was born in the 60s, raised in the 70s and 80s, and probably like a lot of folks my age, my parents smoked like chimneys, and many is the morning where I listened to that type of stuff while, you know, they cleared out their throats and lungs from the previous day's nicotine habit. So that's how I knew my dad was up. Probably why I mean, that and growing up in Southern California smog so thick you could chew it. That's probably why I grew up to be asthmatic. So, Thanks, Mom, Dad. They have improved the air quality quite a bit since the old days. Of course, yeah, don't get me started on the nature of California. I think California has improved a lot from where it was, say, in the 90s. Not just air quality, but quality of life and stuff. But that said, it is so god-awful expensive to live there. The cost of living is through the roof. And, yeah, I mean, great weather, but Yeah, it's just not worth it. It is a lovely place to visit. I do enjoy visiting, but so I talked about this in another episode of another series. I don't remember which one, but you know, we grow up, we miss home or places that we've been, but then invariably when we get a chance to go back years later, it's not the same, because home or special places in our heart, it's not just the place, it's the time, right? The Southern California I grew up in is long gone. The England I lived in is gone, right? Even the Utah where I used to spend my summers with my dad, that's gone. I mean, the Utah's there, Ogden's there, you know, Salt Lake City's there. That, you know, the streets, the houses, they're all there, but the way things were, you know, like the size of the trees are different. Different people live in the different houses. Neighborhoods go through cycles up and down. You know, England's an interesting one because when I arrived in the UK in 1989, and it was kind of at the beginning of essentially a renaissance, right? When I first arrived, everything was kind of old and shabby and run down, and almost immediately after arriving, scaffolding started going up everywhere, and they were cleaning buildings of 200 years of coal, smoke, and grime. And by the time I left, they weren't done, but you could see that a massive wave of modernization was well on its way, and England was starting to look and feel like a modern country, right? Now, I mean, what I know of what it's like now is all based off of, you know, British TV shows or whatever, and that's a place I could probably be very happy living, I think, if they would have me. I mean, I am an American, so not particularly welcome in a lot of places anymore. Though, as Americans go, I'd say in my defense, I'm a pretty good guy. I like to think so. Anyway, why is that one so? Did I knock that one off? I don't know. Anyway, 34 is not enough to fully enchant my sword, but I think my taters are done, and it's enough to make it a lot better than it was. How about that? So let's get a gander and see how much of this stuff we can compost. There is still a lot of work we need to do in this world to get storage started. You know, from the Rubble, and excuse me, this is from the Rubble. In New Londinium and Greifenhorst, we've already started our permanent storage solutions, and we're in pretty good shape there, actually. In New Londinium, everything's put away, right? So we're now working on projects. And in Greifenhorst, we have quite a bit of storage set up. Not as much as I plan for the end game, right? We're not finished with our storage, but we certainly have more than enough to go on for now. But here, we're kind of in the whole chicken and egg type thing, right? So I've been digging up the central core to get to the level where we'll have the storage. But, you know, we're using light gray concrete in this world, and light gray concrete is so laborious to make that I figured we got to do what we can to make it easier, automation being the key there. And in trying to automate it, you know, most of the stuff that's going to make it easy is going to be in the thermal series. Thermal series uses RF, and right now I got a bunch of rotational energy from the crate mod. So We could continue generating RF by making charcoal, but then that it seems like I'm just spending all my time making charcoal all the time. So now I'm going to spend all my time doing something different. But the idea is it's an investment, right? The idea is the time I'm putting into enabling the use of free wind power will pay off in dividends, because eventually, it'll be done and working. Hopefully, at the end of this episode, and then we'll be able to just rock and roll. So there you go. I do appreciate the fact, using the thermal series, we're able to take some shortcuts. So, for example, we needed brass to make the mechanical crafters, and the thermal series has a smelter that will let me combine 2 ingredients into a single smelt. Easy peasy, just like using a regular furnace, but I can put 2 things in. That was a huge lifesaver, because the problem we're running into with which one is it? I think it's new. No, actually, this one we're having the problem with the Nether, but I think it's Gryphon Horse. Going to the Nether, I'm gonna have to create. Let me see. I'm gonna have to create the brass, but I'll have to use just the create mod for that. And for my medieval world, I don't want to have to go and create all that crazy steampunk stuff. No. Everything is just a little too much. Oh, okay. So I think 36 is where we're gonna have to settle. Not quite uber, but it's got a whole lot more going for it than we had before. And that's good. Yeah, because to create brass with the create mod, you got to use a mixer. Mixers are power hogs, and they're a pain in the butt, because to make brass, you're gonna have to use a blaze burner, right? And a blaze burner means you have to capture a blaze in the Nether, and sometimes you're like right next to another fortress or something like that, and so blazes are growing on trees there, easy peasy. And other times you're out in the middle of nowhere or a really hostile area, not a blaze to be found. You know what it is? It's New Londinium. That's what it is. It's New Londinium where I'm having this problem, because I've actually got my Nether portal is actually located in, I think they call it I forget what they call it, but it's basically the quote-unquote garden spot of the Nether. It is not garden-like at all. Man, okay, we got a few minutes to snooze before we can snooze and take care of the weather. 2 birds and 1 stone before we go walkabout. But yeah, it's I think they call it the undergrowth, something like that. Anyway, I popped up there. There's no blazes to be found there, and there's no Nether fortress in sight, and so I have I have my work cut out for me there. Even though now in that one I do have access to a fully advanced enchantment infuser, so all my gear's totally kitted out. I'm good to go. Bring it on, right? Though I was annoyed when I was running around the Nether, and there's apparently like a little hellhound looking thing, right? I call it a hellhound because it's a dog in the Nether, so and the Nether's as close to hell as you can get. So anyhow, the dog was kind of cool. He doesn't attack you or anything. He runs by you, and when he runs by you, he catches you on fire, which is rude. Okay. So, anyway. So the rain stopped. Now maybe we can just pop a snooze, but we're not quite there yet. And, I looked at the calendar. It's still March 5th. It's been March 5th for like ever in this world. I'm starting to wonder if I need to go look at the config file. Maybe I somehow screwed up and set the length of a day to some god-awful number. But the length of a day in the calendar. There's two mods going on here. One is, oops, I knew I'd do that as soon as I did it. So there's Hourglass and there's Serene Seasons, right? Hourglass is where you can control the length of a day, right? And in my case, I set the length of a Minecraft day to be an hour of real time, and the length of a Minecraft night to be an hour of real time, right? So 2 hours total for a full day-night cycle. But in Serene Seasons, it's compatible with Hourglass. So Serene Seasons, I can set a calendar, so a full 12-month calendar, and I can set the length of the calendar by the number of days. In this case, each month, all 12 months are 30 days each, so that gives me a year of 360 days. But you also have to tell it how long a day is in number of ticks, so that they kind of line up. But the problem is the number of ticks is what defines the day. So you sleep in at night, yes, it's morning, and we would call that the next day, but as far as the game's concerned, the calendar's still the same. It's the same date that it was before. Not until the requisite number of ticks goes by, no matter how many times you go to sleep, will it update. But I'm still thinking it's been like, I'll have to double check, it's been like 5 March for like 4 or 5 episodes, and each episode's an hour. So anyway, in the past, we've gone the other way. I'm thinking this is the direction we need to go to open up new vistas, or more importantly, new sources of iron. But there's no guarantee that there's new sources of iron out here. Need to make sure I keep chowing down on my taters as we fly. And let's turn off the HUD. There's not serving me any purpose, except when to eat taters, but I'll just hit the button every once in a while. But look at this. This. So when I first so I started playing with mods. I was reintroduced to modded Minecraft, and I immediately fell in love with it, right? And then I started playing the big, kitchen sink mod packs, and that was inspiring. But, like half of the mods in a given mod pack I couldn't stand. So I started trying to make my own. That was a painful process, but eventually I learned. And then once, I was shooting for a steampunk mod pack, which I use for, Griffin Hall, Griffin Manor, and New Londinium. But here's the thing, right? You create a mod pack, and like 10% of the mods give you the flavor. Like they give me the steampunk flavor. The other 90% of the mods, things like Farmers Delight and stuff, they're probably mods that you would and could use in pretty much any theme. And at that point I realized, let's see what type of post-apocalyptic stuff they got. And the Minecraft modding community does not disappoint. they had a bunch of stuff, but it was this Lost Worlds mod or Lost Cities mod. There's a Lost Worlds mod. I'll talk about that in a sec. That caught my eye, and I said, "Oh Oh, that's it, right? That's the bomb right there. And what you're seeing is the result of that. Now, it took some playing around, and there's a Lost Worlds mod, and by the same folks, and they're meant to play together. And when I was experimenting, trying to figure out the best approach to this, using the Lost Worlds mod, I came up with cities that I can definitely see the post-apocalyptic side of it, right? Where a lot, the city part itself was often underground or somewhat semi-buried, right? It's kind of like, it's not just 50 years or 100 years or 200 years after the fall, but rather 10,000 years after the fall. I kind of like that, but then when I used Lost Cities just by itself, I got something much closer to this. And this is it. This is the bomb right here. Now, it does take a lot of processing power, so you can see stuff spawning in when I get close. And I don't. My machine's not a slouch, not by any stretch of the imagination. But that being said, it does better with terrain that has already been generated. Then it just loads it. But here, if it's got to figure it all out, what's out there and generate it, then it's a bit slower. And the thing too is that these buildings, when it generates them, these are not structures. I mean, if you look in the dictionary, what's a structure? Yes, these are structures. But if you're talking in Minecraft terms, these are not structures. This is terrain. So if you look, the buildings are all 16 by 16. And that's because each building is essentially its own chunk. And that's why they line up the way they do, right? So it does make planning pretty easy. Yes, so all the buildings they're not structures, that's terrain. And and I can't tell you, there's probably, in the area we've flown over, there's probably 500 to 1,000 monster spawners, and that's not an exaggeration, right? In any given building, you could have at least one. I haven't seen a building yet that didn't have one in it. And sometimes you can have 4 or 5. And if it's a really tall building, I imagine it's got a lot more. So, there's plenty of bad guys out there to keep you on your toes. This building on the left, the brown and blue one, it still looks pretty intact. I mean, that's the thing. Some of these buildings are tore up pretty bad, and others, like this one right here, this little one, looks, except that somebody's got to go out and trim the walls, it's in pretty good shape. Now, I've learned the hard way that I was going to say, I learned the hard way, if you come to an edge and it doesn't spawn, don't go off into the void, wait for it to spawn. But this is a fantastic find. The reason is because to get to the next level of enchantment infuser, I need more crying obsidian, and realistically, the best source of crying obsidian are these nether portals. In fact, I see there's one piece of crying obsidian on this thing. The problem in this world is twofold. These nether portals are structures, right? And to kind of give me this whole Lost World vibe, I said I have a mod that actually lets me control the frequency of structures, and I set it so that structures of any type happen 1/8 as often as they would normally. So, and I'm sure you've been in your own Minecraft worlds where sometimes it feels like there's a ruined nether portal every 5 blocks. Yeah, I've been in those worlds too. This ain't one of them. In this world, I don't know that. I think this is the first ruined nether portal we found in this world, right? There, you know, take how many you would normally have, cut that down by 7, or 1/8 of what you had, and then here's music. That's got to be somebody wearing a jukebox. The other thing is that, like I said, the terrain generation is kind of wackadoodle because of the Lost Cities mod. So, whoa. This is going to suck. Can I take off from the water? It said ready for takeoff, but when I got to the edge of the water, it just plopped back down. Okay, with this uncharted territory, I don't want to walk back home. And I don't want to deal with the one-man band, but I'm thinking I might be able to despawn this and set it back up. Let's find a flat spot where I can take off without plopping in the water. That's another problem with this world, is that not a lot of wide open spaces, right? So that's why for my base, I'm going to have to build a landing strip, which is something I'm looking forward to. But build a landing strip again. Whoa, almost didn't make it. I'm going to need that light gray concrete. So, anyway. I love how those aren't mushrooms or trees on top of those buildings. Those are water towers. Put the fuel back in. Yeah, anyway, this is just... this is a fantastic mod. Just love this mod. And if you look down in the city, besides the buildings, there are parks. There are roads, though, in my opinion, not nearly enough roads. And the roads don't really connect. So as far as roads go, except for there is kind of like what I guess you would call like highways or freeways. Those seem to work or make sense. But the regular streets don't seem to make sense, at least not for cars. So maybe this society where everybody was on a bike or a pedestrian, but it also has subway tracks and subway stations. No subways, no trains, but then again it's just minecarts. So, and we've got the Steam. I mean, not the Steam mod. Well, certainly Steam and Rails, but we got the Create mod. So we will be able to build a functioning metro system in this world, and I'm looking forward to that. One of the things that I'm looking forward to in general in this world is fixing it, bringing it back alive, right? Fixing some of it, or tearing it down and building something new and better entirely. That is my favorite story scenario, whatever, right? I am, well, you probably guessed by now, I am an optimist by heart. I like to smile, I like to laugh, I like to see the best in people, and I like to think that even when things are bad, even when people are angry, even with all the things that people do to each other, in the end, people are good, to some extent at least. And okay, we got some elevations here, so maybe we can go down there and what is that? It's a cool little boat. It's a campfire on top. Otherwise I'd say it's a helipad, but you can see there's a subway that's running under the water. That's what the subways look like. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't see any other elevations, but we might be able to get what we need from this area here. I'm pretty sure we can. The one on the left looks particularly promising, but let's take a look at the ones on the right. I don't. Oh, it looks like the biome is crag. So it's there might be some iron here, but it's crag is a mix of stone, gravel, cobblestone, a bunch of weird stuff. And it looks like it's crag over here too, but because of the sheer vertical faces, I can see iron. So this is good stuff. Now we just gotta find a flat spot to land on. Well, let's try landing on this ridge. I could use this ridge as a really narrow runway. Really narrow. Try to land it. Okay. So I saw some iron over here. And let's, oh yeah. So turn on the HUD. Break out my magic magic pickaxe. And then do my mountain goat impersonation. Here I'm gonna have to be a little more surgical in how and what I break. Make sure I don't drop anything. I don't know if I'm gonna feel compelled to go out and get it if I do drop something. Okay, let's see what else we got. Oh! Well, boy, that's just icing on the cake. I survived a fall, barely, and now I don't have a bow. I don't have a bow. So, okay, let's do some culinary first aid. Let's kind of just hide down here, away from the creeper for a second until I get my bearings. Well, while we're here. Okay. Oh boy, I'm surprised I survived that. I would not have survived that if I hadn't added the I think it's vitality enchantment when I fully enchanted my chest armor. So it gave me a bunch of extra hearts, which are taking forever to fill up. Yeah, I would have been dead. I would have been dead. Now, if I had Feather Falling 4, that would have been nice. I'm up to 13 iron, so that's good. I mean, 13 iron is probably enough for this project that I've got immediately in front of me, but I'm out here. So let's see if we can get a little bit more. Plus, perhaps more importantly, more practically, I gotta get back to the ship. You know, it's stuck at the top of that way high ridge, and I'm not way high. I'm way low. So we need to get back up there. And this is gonna be a pain in the tuchus. Okay. So we're mobile again. Actually, I think this is the ridge, right? Yeah, I think this is connected. It's not so bad. Okay. I thought I was going to have to do a whole lot more struggling to get back up there, but I think we'll be okay now. I mean, I got my health back. My shoes are probably a mess. My shorts are probably much better, but okay. Oh, iron. Make sure we don't fall through the wall again. Nice. There's probably more around here somewhere. Yep, This is pretty much prime iron habitat in this world. Oh, I'm close to my puddle jumper, so this worked out really, really well. I was extremely fortunate. This could have been a disaster, pretty much the end of the episode, because I'd have to just be working my way back home. I don't see any more iron. Let's see, I got 28. So that's... I think that's enough. Why tempt fate any more than I already have? Put my taters in the fuel slot. Fuel slot, which is... And we're off. Okay. Whoa! Whoa! And I see even more rising up to the... Oh my gosh. I didn't know this was here. I mean, it hadn't spawned in when we flew in. I think this is all new to me. I don't think I remember seeing an arch like that before. I might have, but I don't think so. So... oh, this is weird looking. I'd love to just grab 100 iron, or 128 to be exact, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I've never been here. Let's just beat feet back home and get that alternator going. Interesting. This is a very weird bit of the map, but it fits well with the story, right? Which is I said that there's a cataclysmic event, not very descriptive, no details, but it basically broke the world. I mean, it broke the world. It broke the bonds between worlds. I mean, that's how we have a connection to the Nether and stuff. That's what ended civilization. I mean, something had to do it. Go! I guess in real life we can see that modern events, without the need for any major unexplained cosmic cataclysm, we seem to be well on our way to destroying the world all on our own. But that's neither here nor there. This is a place to come and enjoy ourselves. Forget all that BS for a while. I'm pretty sure, yes, I've been here before. This sand, this was where I was getting my sand for concrete until I created the ability to make my own sand. So, and then that floating rock up there in the air, that's the landmark that we can see from our base. In fact, I think I can see a corner of my little fort, my little base. In fact, I can see where the windmills should be. They'll pop in here in a sec. There we go. There's my windmills. Okay, we're cooking with gas again, finally. So we'll pop back down in the base. We'll throw the iron into the blast furnace, get that cooking. And then we already have a mechanical press, and that's, you know, most of this stuff is just, we're going to need sheets, right? I'm also going to need a copper sheet. I'm going to need a zinc sheet. And aside from that, the other thing we'll need to do is we're going to need to make, I think they call it a mechanical roller or roller. That's also from the Create Builders and Additions or whatever it is. And basically, it'll let us create things like rods and wire. And then that should be it, right? I think we have everything we need to make the alternator. And looking at the clock, I think we can do that by the end of the episode. So that's, there we go. And it's not even a stretch goal. I think that's totally doable. Because, you know, in a lot of my episodes, I think, oh, I just got to do A, B, and C. And they, you know, and then we'll figure out what we'll do with the rest of the time. And then we have a hard time getting A done, much less B and C. Though I do have a lot of weird stuff. I do have a piece of crying ups. Oh, I got 41 iron. Okay, that's even better. I still have a bunch of stuff left over from my last Nether sojourn. So let's put some of this stuff away. This world has so many different mineral mods that this using a double chest to keep my different forms of minerals is not working so well. Let's make this divisible by 8, and then that will cook evenly. And let's make this into a block, and that will store evenly. Okay. And I don't know where to put this. Here. Yeah, silver, it's fine. Oh, we definitely need to get our storage online. I might need to make some drawers for some of the stuff I have a lot of, you know, like multiple stacks. I might need to make some drawers, and we can just stack the drawers someplace in here for now. I think I have. Yeah. You know, one of the great classic challenges for games like this is finding a place to put your stuff. When I first started playing No Man's Sky, I think I can change these a block. Yeah, like this. You know, it was at 2.0, and man, I had such a hard time finding room for all my stuff, and you needed all the stuff. And somebody would joke saying they should change the name of the game to Inventory Full, because that seemed to be like what you hear all the time. Very aggravating too, by the way. Ooh, those gave me quite a boost, actually. I forgot I had them. Of course, there wouldn't have been enough to get us to where we needed to be, but okay, we're almost there. So I'm gonna need copper, and I'm gonna need zinc. So I think that should be enough copper. Probably too much, but we'll just make sure. Not quite there yet. Now I can take the fuel out and put in more of these stairs. Cook that last iron, and then let's see. We'll just. I don't have any way to destroy those, so we'll just put them over there and let them despawn. Let's cook this last one, and that's all 41 of them. Now let's grab all the bits we'll need for creating in Create. I think that's all of it. Okay, I'm excited because, you know, we've been working on this for a while now. Bit by bit, piece by piece, scar by scar. going into the Nether and finding that I had, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 sucks and 10's awesome, my placement in the Nether was a 0.5. It was bad, but we survived it barely, and now we're up and running. So let's set up our mechanical press. This is the place to do it. So I will let's put down the depot. Where is the depot? There it is. And I can stand on the depot. Where do I put it? And then I can put I gotta turn these vertical first. Turn both vertical. And now I can put the mechanical press up there. Okay, now it's time for stamp collecting. So I need 6 iron there. 2 more, that's 8. And what else? And that looks like 9. It looks like I'll need 9. So well, let's try 8. Because this one is zinc sheet, it's not iron. But I do need copper. And there's a zinc ingot. And I'm going to need to make a redstone torch. And I think that's all we need down here. I'm pretty sure. Well, I'm about to find out, right? Famous last words. I got everything I need. I don't need to go back. Though nowadays it's usually because I forgot my glasses, forgot my keys, forgot my phone, and 9 times out of 10 I actually have those things. They're just for somehow the glasses are on my head or the phone's in a different pocket, and so when I go to check for it I don't find it, and by the time I'm already in the house then I check a pocket that actually does have the phone. Man, what is going on here? Okay, hold on, let me put some stuff into the backpack. Give me some working room here. Okay. You missed. Okay, let's see. So I need copper and zinc. So let's get a copper. I don't need 5 copper sheets, just 1. Mucho Stampo. Here we go. Nice. And then we'll swap it out with a zinc. Oh, this is so cool. This is gonna get me where I need to be finally. So then we put this down, and I think, let's see, it's zinc, copper. Hold on. It says I don't have it, but I just created it. Yeah, I just created a zinc sheet. Zinc sheet. Says I'm missing it. That's a zinc sheet, so it doesn't matter where I put the zinc sheet, but it says I don't have a zinc sheet. What kind of sheet is this? Maybe if I just put it in here. Hold on a second. Hold on. Okay, let me just try this. That doesn't work. That clearly doesn't work. I think I see what the problem is. Let's double check. I think there's more than one zinc sheet. I have the wrong zinc sheet. Yep. There's a zinc sheet from Create Crafts and one from Create Deco. And the one I have is from Create Deco, and that's the one I need, is Create Crafts and Additions. Oh, and they both have the same formula, but it clearly chose... Okay, I'm going to see if there's any type of alternative way. Not to create one from scratch. Oh, God bless it. Son of a biscuit. I'm not going to be able to finish the alternator this episode because I have the wrong zinc, and there's no way in game at the moment that I can convert it back or do it again and get the right one. So what I'll probably do before the next episode, I will go in, in each of my Minecraft worlds for these series. I have my own little custom mod resource pack thingamabobber that I make myself. And in this case, I'll just create a recipe that will let me exchange back and forth between the two types of zinc sheets. And then I'll be able to press forward. But that's not the only thing we're waiting on, right? We can make the roller, and we can roll out and make wires and cables. But what do I need for that? So I need 2 iron sheets. Yeah, I got everything. So let's... I don't know how this thing works, though. Where I'm looking at, I'm not quite sure where the power connects on this thing, right? So... I'm not quite... I think that end... Like, either end, maybe? Is there a ponder on this? There is no ponder. Ponder is the little animated documentation that comes with the Create mod. A lot of the Create add-ons have ponders. This one doesn't. I'm getting pushed by the windmill here. Trying to see if I can figure out some way to connect this thing. You know, we can just do it over here. Get within the windmill here. Yep, that did it. There we go. It's working. Woo! Of course, I'm getting pushed around by the windmill. Okay. So, what do we need? We need... Okay. It's easy enough. If I put in 1 iron ingot, I get 2 iron bars. And it's not going in. It is an iron bar, right? I'm trying to put this... What's it say? It says... it shows it goes into the top. Okay, let's try that. Nope. Nope. Double and triple nope. My guess is I need to use, why can't I pick it up now? Oh, my iron's not set. My guess is I need to feed it through a conveyor or a hopper or something like that. And looking at the clock, I don't have time for that. So that's where we'll pick up. Next episode, well, we should definitely be able to finish this alternator. Of course, it's raining. That used to be a running joke around here. Is at the end of every episode of Newland Indium and From the Rubble, it would rain. I mean, I knew it was time to end because it would rain. How much? I need 3 crine obsidian. I have 1, and I need 2 full ingots of netherite. Which, yeah, I forgot about that. That's another fly in the ointment. That's a 20-pound fly in the ointment. So okay, we'll deal with it. But that aside, aside from, let's take it aside from this little hiccup, I think we have everything we need for the alternator. If I can just get the zinc sheet, I can't type, get the zinc sheet issue figured out, I think we can move forward on this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make a custom recipe to get past that. Bummer. I mean, it really takes the wind out of my sails, like a quick kick in the teeth. But this is one of the inevitable pains or joys, depending on how you look at it, of playing modded Minecraft, especially when you start mixing up really large mod packs. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often, quite frankly. So anyway, with that said, it was a pretty good run today. We got the iron we needed. We explored some new parts of the map. It was nice. It was actually kind of fun to just get out of the house for a little bit. And we have enough iron to keep us going for a little while plus. And then, except for the zinc sheet problem, we actually made pretty good progress on the alternator. And even toward updating my gear. So, I mean, we actually checked a lot of boxes. Just some of the boxes we can't completely check, right? But I want to thank you for being with me through all this, and give you an invitation to like, subscribe, comment, join the channel, join the Discord, you know, all the normal stuff if you like this. I don't need to make videos. I make videos because I think it's fun and I like sharing with you. So hopefully you like the fact that I'm sharing with you. Anyway, with all that said, I hope you come back, and until next time, I hope you find, I hope this finds you and yours in good health, good spirits, and perhaps just a touch of good fortune. Cheers.